what point did you realize your husband didn't love you? For me, it was at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday when our baby wouldn't stop crying and my husband told me to keep it down because he had work in the morning. I met Ryan in college. He was the guy who brought me soup when I was sick and remembered my favorite coffee order. When he proposed, I cried happy tears thinking I'd found my person. Marriage felt like having a best friend who'd always have my back. But looking back, the signs were there way before that night. When I told Ryan I was pregnant, his first words weren't, "I'm so excited," or "we're having a baby." He said, "Well, I guess our fun days are over." Then he went back to watching TV like I'd just told him we were out of milk. Every doctor's appointment, I went alone. Ryan always had something come up, a work meeting, a friend's birthday, his fantasy football draft. I'd sit in those waiting rooms surrounded by couples holding hands while I filled out forms by myself. The nurse once asked, "Where's Dad today?" And I made up some excuse about him being busy, but inside I felt embarrassed. Other husbands seemed excited to see ultrasound pictures. Ryan barely glanced at them when I showed him at home. During my pregnancy, I threw up every morning for 3 months. Ryan complained that the smell of my morning sickness made him nauseous too. He started sleeping in the guest room because my tossing and turning kept him awake. I was growing his child, but somehow I was the problem. When my water broke at 2 a.m., I had to wake Ryan up 3 times. He drove to the hospital going exactly the speed limit while I gripped the door handle through contractions. In the delivery room, he sat in the corner chair scrolling through his phone. When I screamed during a particularly bad contraction, he looked up annoyed and said, "The nurse said this was normal, right?" Our daughter Emma was born after 18 hours of labor. When the doctor placed her on my chest, I was crying and exhausted and overwhelmed with love. I looked over at Ryan expecting to share this incredible moment. He was taking a selfie. The first few weeks home were brutal. Emma cried constantly. I was running on 2 hours of sleep, trying to figure out breastfeeding and healing from giving birth. Ryan went back to work after 3 days and came home expecting dinner on the table like nothing had changed. I asked him to help with night feedings. He said, "You're breastfeeding anyway, so what's the point of both of us being tired?" I started doing everything alone. Diaper changes, feedings, doctor visits, grocery runs with a screaming baby. Ryan's friends would come over to meet Emma. They'd coo over her and tell Ryan how lucky he was. He'd smile and nod like he was this devoted dad. But the second they left, he'd hand her back to me saying she probably needed something. One evening, I was making dinner while bouncing Emma because she was fussy. I asked Ryan to hold her for 5 minutes so I could finish cooking. He sighed dramatically and said, "I just got home from work. Can I have 5 minutes to relax?" Like taking care of his own daughter was some huge favor to me. But that Tuesday night was different. Emma had been crying for 2 hours straight. I tried everything. Feeding her, changing her, rocking her, singing to her. I was sitting in the nursery at 3 a.m., both of us crying, when Ryan appeared in the doorway. I thought maybe he was coming to help. Maybe he'd take her so I could catch my breath. Instead, he stood there in his pajamas looking irritated. "Can you keep it down?" he said. "I have an important meeting in the morning." I stared at him holding our 6-month-old daughter who was screaming her lungs out. "She's a baby, Ryan. She doesn't have a volume control." "Well, figure something out. Some of us have real jobs." Then he turned around and went back to bed. I sat there in the dark holding Emma, and it hit me like a truck. I wasn't married to a partner. I was married to someone who saw me and our daughter as inconveniences in his life. Someone who thought his sleep mattered more than his wife having a breakdown at 3 a.m. The next morning, he acted like nothing happened, made his coffee, kissed my cheek, and said, "Have a good day," before leaving for work. Like he hadn't just told me to quiet our crying baby because it was bothering him. That's when I knew. Not that our marriage was struggling or that we needed counseling. I knew he didn't love me.